Why does intimacy, which is about connection and commitment for him, seem to be withdrawn or cut off by the woman he loves? It's a deeply painful experience when the physical and emotional bridge in a marriage seems suddenly broken. I know many of you are struggling to reconcile your wife's commitment vows with the reality of distance and emotional walls. You may be thinking, how can someone who promised forever withhold something so vital to our bond? Before we unpack the real emotional and behavioral drivers here, please take a moment, hit that like button, share where you're watching from in the comments, and subscribe so this vital conversation can reach others who need it. Let's get straight to the painful truth that few people talk about openly. Many relationship challenges, including the withdrawal of intimacy, stem from a pervasive myth: the belief that another person, your husband, is responsible for your inner happiness. This isn't about blame, it's about emotional maturity. When someone enters a marriage with the unrealistic expectation that their partner should constantly fulfill their emotional needs to be their sole source of joy, validation, and satisfaction, it sets the relationship up for failure. Here is the truth. When that expectation is inevitably unmet, because no human can carry that burden, the pain and disappointment are often projected outward. The man, the husband, becomes the target of that hurt. In some cases, the withholding of intimacy becomes a subconscious tool, a form of emotional leverage, or a painful signal of unhappiness that the person herself hasn't learned to manage internally. For a good man, this behavior is shocking because his internal commitment wiring is different. When he makes a vow, he means it. He doesn't inherently use love or connection as a tool to control or punish. This is why his mind simply cannot grasp the cruelty of weaponizing intimacy. I've spent over a decade observing these dynamics. What I've learned is that the root cause of this distance isn't usually you or anything you've specifically done wrong, but often a chronic lack of self-awareness and emotional accountability in the partner. When a woman struggles to find happiness within herself, her perspective becomes warped. All she can focus on is what she believes you are doing to cause her unhappiness. The respect, the connection, the trust, she may unintentionally kill it herself through cycles of demanding, blaming, and projecting her own inner void onto the relationship. This is a profound realization for a good man. You must understand that often the pain and distance you feel are not a commentary on your worth, but a symptom of your partner's internal, unresolved issues. Your job is not to become her source of happiness, but to focus on your own strength and dignity. So, what can you, the good man, do when facing this confusing and painful situation? You cannot change your wife, but you can absolutely change how you respond. Here are 3 crucial habits to help you regain your inner strength and confidence. Habit 3. Stop living by the moving goalposts. Do you ever feel like no matter what you achieve or change, the demands just keep shifting? Biologically, constantly chasing your partner's approval or trying to meet impossible demands keeps your nervous system in a state of high alert. This constant stress elevates cortisol, depletes testosterone, and fundamentally degrades your health and vitality. Emotionally, when you chase a moving target, you slowly erode your own dignity. You teach yourself that your value is contingent on someone else's unpredictable mood. To reclaim your dignity, you must stop accepting the blame for another person's unhappiness. Practically, identify one standard or expectation that has been unfairly placed on you recently. Gently, but firmly, state that you recognize it's not realistic or fair, and that your focus must be on what you can control your own behavior and happiness. Do this calmly, without anger. Habit 2. Prioritize your personal commitment. When her commitment seems to falter, does it feel like your whole world is destabilized? Biologically, a good man's wiring thrives on commitment and purpose. When the external relationship commitment appears fragile, you need a strong internal anchor. Investing time in your own health, exercise, sleep, meaningful hobbies stabilizes your mental health and improves physical resilience. This is self-respect in action. Emotionally, your core strength comes from the promises you keep to yourself. Not having a clear internal commitment leaves you vulnerable to manipulation and despair. When you are strong in your own purpose, her external chaos has less power over your inner peace. Practically, re-engage with an activity you've let go of, whether it's a fitness routine, a business goal, or a creative project. This is a deliberate, daily act of self-commitment that rebuilds your personal foundation. Habit 1. Master emotional non-reaction. How often do her accusations or emotional outbursts pull you into a destructive cycle? Biologically, reacting emotionally to conflict or blame floods your system with adrenaline, creating an addictive, unhealthy pattern of fighting or withdrawing. Non-reaction breaks this cycle, lowering your blood pressure and restoring calm. Emotionally, the highest form of power is the power not to react. When you refuse to be drawn into the drama, you preserve your dignity and signal that you will not participate in toxic behavior. This forces the other person to look at their own actions rather than using you as a shield. Practically, when faced with blame or manipulation, practice the 3-second pause. Instead of defending yourself, simply say, "I understand you are feeling unhappy," and then remove yourself from the conversation until calm can be restored. This week, your mission is to regain your internal power by focusing only on what you can control, yourself. First, stop defending. For the next 7 days, do not argue or defend yourself against any accusation about your partner's unhappiness. Simply acknowledge her feelings and gently decline to accept the blame. Second, schedule your purpose. Dedicate a non-negotiable hour, 4 times this week, to a pursuit that matters only to you. Exercise, reading, a hobby. Third, find external support. Talk to a trusted friend, counselor, or professional like me about the pressure you are under. You cannot carry this burden alone. My dear friend, I want to assure you, you are a good man. Your integrity, your commitment, and your desire for connection are strengths, not weaknesses. When you face this kind of emotional complexity, your solution is not to try harder to fix her, but to focus on building your own strength, your own confidence, and your own internal peace. When you stand strong and grounded in your own dignity, you create the best possible foundation for a healthy outcome, whatever that may be. Age is not a descent into chaos. It is an invitation to profound personal freedom. You deserve comfort, respect, and confidence.